Hi everyone, Scott with CyberScribe.org, and this video we're going to be continuing from the last one, just an introduction to the Cisco IOS and some basic switch configuration. Let's do a show running config. Now, where I'm typing these commands in this area here is I'm connected with the console cable. So we'll do a couple things here, and then I'm going to initiate a Telnet session from the other side. You'll see some differences there. Don't need to see all that. Okay. IP address. Remember we configured that IP address last time, 200. That's what we're going to connect with Telnet for. One thing you don't see here now is a default gateway on the switch. So if I was connecting remotely, now I'm connecting on the local area network here, just on 192.168.0.0. So if you're connecting on a local area network, you don't need the default gateway. But if you're connecting truly remotely from across town or across the country or something, you're going to need that default gateway so the Telnet can send the messages out of the switch as well. So that's what we're going to do right now. And I'll show you how it works. Go to global configuration mode and just IP default and tab complete it and put in the default gateway, and that's it. And remember, we can put do in front of our show commands, and then we can do them from the global config mode or interface config or stuff like that. It comes in handy. Now you'll see that the default gateway is set up. Okay, so now it's really set up for remote access. Without the default gateway, it's kind of more local access, but that is done. Now let's take a look at the connection with Telnet. So I'm going to initiate this session. You see how we have the banner right there? And let's put in some passwords. Okay. I'm going to actually do this again and make it a little bit bigger. So just give me a second. Telnet. And how you change the font in here is you go to Appearance and then change scope to 14. Make them the same, make it a little bit easier to read. Okay. Okay, so now, as you see, we are in privileged exec mode in both the switch, or not the switch, but the Telnet session and the console session right here on the left side. So what I'm going to do, you can see that right there, is I'm going to actually plug in a cable, and I'll just look at both of them and see the difference. Okay, cable's plugged in. You see how you get those messages? That's just your console messages there. It's good, it gives you good information on it, but the problem is if you're typing a command like show, see that? It steps on the commands that you're writing. So I'm just going to show you, let's get out of that, show you a way to fix that. And let me just do this. Okay, just notice that you're not seeing any of those messages on Telnet. When you're doing Telnet or SSH, you won't see those messages. Okay, so now we're connected on this one where you're seeing all these messages with the console. So what mode are you going to go into to fix that? Well, the console line. So let's do that. Go to your global config mode, then line con, right? Tabs out to console 0. Now the command that you want to do is logging, but let's see what it says. Logging synchronous is what you want, and it's a synchronized message output. We'll see what change that makes. And just tab that out, logging synchronous. We can do a do show, whoops. And you can see now here's our console line. And we have logging synchronous in there. We didn't have that before. Okay. Now I'm going to type in a command. Now remember, logging synchronous is on. So I'm going to, and I plugged in a port. You see that? So it retypes out your command. It doesn't step on you as much. So if you're, it depends on if you're working a lot more remotely or if you're working with the console. A lot of times when you're starting out, and especially if it's a lab, all your Cisco equipment is right here. So I find myself, well, it depends, but I use the console a lot. And the issue is if you don't have that logging synchronous, you're going to get the console messages, and then they're just going to, these messages will step over the commands that you want to do. So, and that's all I wanted to show for you today. A quick one, hopefully. But I'll be making future videos with this, and just stay tuned.